morning, everyone. How's everybody doing? I know it's early today. It is early for me. I'm having coffee and oatmeal. How's everybody doing today? We got some news. I got some news coming up. I got a little bit I got to share from the front. Good morning. Hey, Jess, K-Bell, Haji, Cypher. How you doing? How's everybody in the chat today? Got a little bit of news to cover. Yeah, it's early. Memorial weekend always screws me up on my schedule, so it's kind of spotty. I wanted to do one last night. I couldn't do it. I got home too late. So we're going to do one today. Got a little bit from the 14th Met. Additional photos from 14th Met. Also, just a quick video. That's the brigade right now that we are supporting through Paging, Kansas. The fundraiser is pinned in the top of the chat. Just a short little 14-second video for the 14th Mech. A couple other pictures. And then I'll just play the video real quick.
Здоров'я. Ми зараз знаходимося на гарячій точці.
Sound.
В напрямку. Хочемо звернутися за допомогою до всіх небайдужих на Мавік 3T, які будуть нам допомагати знищити ворога. Всі разом до перемоги. Слава Україні!
Alright, well, I'm going to read it out. So the senior sergeant. Wishing you good health. We are now in a hot spot in the Kupiansk direction, which is, I already knew they were over there. We want to appeal for help to all those who will help us destroy the enemy. Together to victory. Glory to Ukraine. Glory to the heroes. Short and sweet, guys. I know they were in the shit. I could tell they moved into a hotter position because the list of needs that we got from the 14th, excuse me, turned from tarps for dugout, generators, and stuff like that, digging tools, bug spray, into medical supplies. So I could tell they had moved into a hotter spot. Kupiansk has always been a hot spot. I think they've been in and out of there for a while. I don't have a date on this video. I'm not going to ask. But they are in a hot spot, and I can tell just by what they need. They need a list of medical supplies. Paige is headed to Ukraine to deliver some of those supplies. But we have a laundry list that they provided of needs that they need. Right now, what they're looking for is crutches, cardiac drugs, sedatives, anti-allergic, antibiotics, painkillers, nootropics, anti-inflammatory drugs, ointments, analgesics, bandages for burns, and whatnot. And all that can be provided in country when Paige gets to Ukraine here shortly. Her fundraiser is pinned in the top of the description of the chat. It's really easy to do. I'll show you real quick. You just click on the link. There's Paige. Here's some stuff she's purchased in the past. You can make a donation here, whatever amount. And then when you do this, if you do help, just note, put in the comments for the 14th. So it's earmarked because she's helping a ton of people. And she's headed there now. She's on her way to deliver aid. She can purchase a lot of this stuff in country, and it's cheaper. So the sooner we can help her out with this, the better. And we'll get a little more into that as well. Actually, we'll do it now. I'll just get into a little bit of it. Yeah, let's check out. I hate going here now. We're going to do it. We'll go into a little bit of what Paige is doing.
Кажуть, сонце, хули там, град, блядь.
Here's some of the videos she's getting. 109th, 47th, 35th.
Кажуть, сонце, хули там, град, блядь.
They've got increasing needs for medical needs and car supplies, car repair, stuff like that. Here's her murder. Oh, she's got her own shirt coming. Sweet. Here's some more for Paige. Also, she is helping one of her longtime friends over there to fight cancer as well. And I think, I can't remember how, it was like $600 a month just for her cancer treatment. She's a widow and she has a child who she's helping. So it's more than just aid to the soldiers. She's keeping people alive. Oh yeah, okay. So here's another one. On the stream the other day, you guys helped with the Amazon wish list she had. She received some of the products and started opening them up right away. So badass. Thank you guys for that. She let me know even. She's like, holy cow. I could see the difference from the donations. So she was like, thank you guys. So so it's working. Yeah, so it's a great opportunity. Anyways, that's my pitch for Paige, and the current fundraiser we'll be hosting probably till around mid-June. I don't know exact date, but then we will be transitioning into another Car for Ukraine fundraiser, Easter Pisonki, and I have an update on the vehicle that we helped purchase for the 104th Chimeras, and I have that video right here.
Rainy morning in Lviv today, everyone. Weird shit is happening in the world. There's normally Trump, Rubio, not blaming Russia even though they should. Well, we know how to retaliate and how to pay back to Russia for what they do with this beautiful batch of 6 vehicles we are sending today. And it's quite a mix today. I'm gonna tell you a bit about each one of them. Fiat, it's a sort of like a cargo van that has been donated by John, who has been owning this car for like 18 years or something. Good, reliable, it has a lot of room on the back, so it can carry lots of ammunition, lots of food, supplies, etc. Gary, Keith, led by brilliant Joanne, have brought this car to Lviv, and massive thanks to them, as well as everyone who contributes to our Power the Frontline campaign, because that is helping us to pay for servicing of the cars and delivery to the frontline. Let's move forward.
ARP.
This one, this beautiful Toyota Hilux.
So guys, if you're just coming in, we're covering the latest update on the vehicle that we fundraised through Car for Ukraine, Easter Pisonki fundraiser that we completed, myself and Canty Luden.
A massive thanks to Richard Lovehouse, who helped us to buy it, and extraordinary thank you to Archie, who is a young man who brought this car. We were a bit worried because it's a 3-liter diesel without young blood, so he doesn't do anything wrong. But Archie did everything perfect. He brought 2 other friends, and together they brought some good trucks here, and this is one of them. So massive thanks to Archie and all of our community who are contributing, because this one is actually fully sponsored by our community. As you can see here on this side, Power the Frontline, that's the name of the campaign, and this truck was purchased thanks to the regular donations and quick donations at carforukraine.com. So every time if you don't know where the donations go, well, that's where they go. Another one, Give Care, a group of Dutch and German volunteers. This vehicle has been donated by Jeppe and Ipe, and we brought it to Ukraine thanks to Ibala, another great volunteer from Netherlands, from Germany. He's I think Dutch living in Germany, or vice versa. And yeah, one more truck. Those guys are going to the east. This one, number 12, Easter Pisonki campaign. Massive thanks to Sukamaimus and his great community structural.
Sukamaimus has such a large community. He was able to knock these out. It was pretty amazing.
Verified, geolocated. One more vehicle for our Seraphims 104 Territorial Brigade. that is serving sort of in Sumy, in Kursk region, and yeah, this one will be doing lots of interesting stuff for Russians. Look at this beauty. Paul, a British who lives in France. He said, you know, I have this car as a technical car, and I'm not using it much for, you know, pleasure.
How about you guys ever driven a BMW? I love BMWs. They are so nice to drive, but I would not want to own one. It's out of my range. But they are. I drove a 330i for a little while, and that thing was like it was like it was riding on rails.
So I'd like to donate it to Ukraine. What a mix we have today. Well, we Car for Ukraine serves all.
So that's the 320D. I'm pretty sure that's a really nice one. I'm pretty sure the lower the number on BMWs, the better the vehicle. Correct me if I'm wrong.
So as an instrument, as a bridge between soldiers on the front line and different people in the West who contribute in the cars and want to make sure that they get to the soldiers at the end of the day. And this is exactly the case. Obviously, this car is not going to go on any off-road, but when it comes to moving around the city, coming to the post service, you know, bringing supplies from one place to another, it's a very spacious car. It has a lot of space on the back. So massive thanks to Paul for donating this vehicle. And actually, he's getting one more vehicle with
all right, last but not least, here we go, guys.
From his friend Sun. Last but not least, this beautiful Toyota Hilux, Renegade Changus and Kanti. These two guys have been super active, and also, of course, the bombsheller, the blonde bombsheller, extraordinary. I mean,
there it is, guys. There's everybody who donated. Well, just about everybody. They might have fit everybody on there. Pretty sweet. I know there was a lot of anonymouses as well, but we've got the vehicle we fundraises for. It's in Ukraine, headed to the front.
These guys have been extremely active. 2012 Toyota Hilux, very reliable. The guys from the Seraphims sent us feedback about the quality of the cars, and they said they never received such good vehicles, quality wise. Therefore, folks, 6 brilliant vehicles. Not all of them are pickups.
The audio gets a little choppy in the recording. It's not on my end.
3 pickups and 3 more, I would say, for logistics purposes. We don't stop. We have Power the Frontline campaign. It's ongoing as always, and 4 of those cars wouldn't be possible without people who contribute to Power the Frontline campaign. And we are actually launching a new campaign pretty soon. It's actually already live on the website, but we'll make additional push a bit later. If you want to support, check out carforukraine.com, make a quick donation, or go check out some of our active campaigns. Thank you. Slava Ukraini, Героям слава.
Alright, I'm not gonna lie. This part where they pull out of this parking lot scares the shit out of me every time, because these cars just, like, they're just pulled out in front. They're like, you better stop. Alright, there it goes, guys. That's badass, dude. That makes me feel so good to see. Yeah, that little Beamer looks whippy, doesn't it? Doesn't it? Yeah, but that's pretty cool. So it's headed to the front. We did it. We got a vehicle fundraised for the Chimeras. Head to the front. Kursk Sumy region, which is very needed right now. I think Sumy is in artillery range right now. So the more vehicles we can get to the front, the more we can stop the invaders and push them back in that area, the better. Kupiansk as well. Like I said, right now we're going to be helping the 14th. And yeah, and then sometime probably in late June, July, we're going to start the Summer Pisonki fundraiser. I feel like it's going to be a little tougher. I hope we can all come together for that one and see where we can go. That's it. That's what I got for the update. Let's go into some news. Let's go into social media. See what's going on. I saved a bunch of stuff. There's a lot going on. There's a whole lot going on. What's this?
It's so.
Oh, what is this? All right, yeah, I haven't seen this.
After Democratic Representative Jamie Raskin silenced Marjorie Taylor Greene by quoting her own words.
It's so simple, and it's so simple that I think that we can all come together on it. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I yield back.
Mr. Raskin.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. But one of the things that we heard from the gentlelady from Georgia was that the proper response to children being massacred in school would be more armed guards, and that the way to protect people is to have more armed guards. And several things came to mind. One was that in Buffalo, the shooter, Peyton Gendron, I think his name was confronted by an armed guard who shot him, but he was wearing body armor, and then was able to kill the guard and go on to massacre people in the grocery store. Ms. Green, do you think the Second Amendment protects body armor too, by the way?
Well, Mr. Raskin, here's what I do believe is I wish that people inside that grocery store had been armed, but the strict gun control where they live took that ability away from them.
I'll reclaim my time. So, Mr. Scott, your state has seen some terrible massacres, like at Virginia Tech. We saw the massacre at Uvalde, where there were lots of police officers around with guns, but they weren't able to stop the madman who got inside with an AR-15, the 18-year-old who got inside with an AR-15 and assassinated those children, such that their parents had to offer DNA to make a positive identification. Couldn't even identify them visually. What do you think about this argument that, well, what we need to do, what I understand her to be saying, is that basically everybody should be armed? Is that going to make us safer if we become the only country in the world where our solution to the problem of massacres in public places is to arm everybody?
The evidence I've seen is if you have armed guards in schools, you have no reduction in killings. You do have an increase in school-to-prison pipeline because the police officers there tend to police the children, not protect the children. And so that makes the situation actually worse.
Dumpty, I'll bring that up on my church stream that I do probably next week.
Police officers improve anything as police officers. If you have an additional counselor in the school, psychologist, things like that, that has been shown to reduce the...
We hate women!
What the hell? Okay, so, yeah, sorry, it's a feed. I don't know what they're trying to do. Trying to blend in. Am I doing it right? Oh my god. We'll bring this up next week. But it is important to check out young U.S. men joining masculine Russian churches. Young U.S. men are joining Russian churches promising absurd levels of manliness. A bunch of fucking incels. Oh, I told myself I wasn't going to cuss this stream. Anyways, we'll get into that later. It's wild, dude. Wild. Where should we dive into first? All right, yeah, let's get the protests and deportations out of the way. We got some stuff going on here. It's getting kind of wild.
Notice. I have the notice.
There's a notice right here. There's a notice.
I have the notice. Okay, we already know that too. We know that too. Okay.
That's a notice from the judge.
She just continued. Okay. So let us do our job and step back.
So May 22nd and 23rd, I showed up in the hallways of San Diego immigration court to kidnap people who were there for their court dates. Roughly 20 people were taken over those 2 days. In this video, you can see and hear the lawyer of the man in the blue suit asking what legal grounds they had to detain him. And then they bring out a notice from the judge in the next room. ICE directly defied the judge's orders and took this man anyways. So they're calling it kidnapping. And then they ask at the bottom, at one point, do citizens have the right to detain these law-breaking ICE officers to prevent kidnapping? Interesting.
If he doesn't want to talk, then you can talk to him. I'm trying to talk to you because I'm trying to talk to you. Okay, listen.
Hi, Steven.
I'm trying to explain. Yes, yeah, Spanish, right? Correct. Okay, I'm taking him back into custody. I'm trying to explain it. We know that, and I'm trying to explain. We are remanding him to custody. That's all. That's all. You don't have to pursue the custody 6 minutes. But says who? I'm just explaining what we're doing. Under what? You can fight that with the court. I'm just telling you what we're doing, okay? What you're doing is illegal.
Dude, how can they even sleep at night? Dude. What a terrible thing to be doing. They have no legal right to be doing this, and they're locking people up while they're in court.
The judge is printing a notice right now. Judge has a notice. Who is your supervisor?
The judge has a notice.
Why are you ignoring the judge's orders? Wait until I speak with your supervisor. Okay, I'll notice what? Why are you ignoring the judge's orders?
The judge has a notice. He has a notice. Yeah. You're going exactly against the judge.
Why are you ignoring the judge's orders?
Why are you participating in a fascist takeover of the government?
Oh, you guys hear that? Why are you participating in a fascist takeover of the government?
Order. You're violating human rights. People have a right to due process in this country, whether or not they are a citizen.
You're literally violating a judge's order.
To everybody present in the United States,
I'm backwards.
you are knowingly violating their due process rights.
Stall as much as you can? Yeah, I definitely would.
You are criminals.
This is a fucking kidnapping.
Hey, back up.
It is a
I'm not. Please don't touch me. Please don't touch me. Please don't touch me. You've touched me with your arm. You can't do that.
You're violating.
You can't do that.
Fucking kidnapping, man. Y'all are going to be held accountable for this. You know that, right? There's going to be a day where you're fucking held accountable for crimes against humanity. This is a kidnapping. You know how many years in prison people get for kidnapping? 20 years. You want to go to prison for 20 years? Keep going with your shit.
More than a month
Dude, whoever said that at the end there, yeah. Agreed. Where did this come from? Hackers leaked to press passenger details of Trump deportation. Oh, yeah, well. I don't think I saved that one. Okay, that was one. Let me not lose track here. This dude, he's going back to see his girlfriend that got deported.
Thanks to the current state of our country, my girlfriend is no longer allowed back in the United States. They took both her visas and said, no nursing school for you. Didn't really give a reason, which was super cool of them to do. So I am going to be taking my old vintage motorcycle. It's like 45 years old. I have been restoring it over, I want to say, a better part of a year now. I'm going to take this down the Pan American Highway to Buenos Aires to meet her there. The goal is to learn Spanish along the way so that I can speak to her family and friends when I get down there. I am here with my friend Henry. He's also coming along for the ride.
Yo.
He also got an old beater bike. And yeah, we're going to see exactly how far we can get. This bike is not made for this, but you know, we'll see. We both have between us before this trip like a solid 10 hours of riding experience. I have 150 days of a streak in Duolingo. Yeah, I'm feeling pretty good about it. You guys want
He's like, yeah, I rode a bike for 10 hours and I practiced Duolingo. I'm out.
to see this train wreck unfold, feel free to follow or like or the subscription or whatever this ends up on. Yeah, and we'll probably also have like a Venmo in the bio if you want to buy us like a $5 tank of gas or maybe a beer. I don't know. Yeah, we're kind of just going off the kindness of strangers. This is how it's gone so far. This is not the first day, but I haven't filmed an intro for any of this, so here we go, I guess. Yeah.
That's love, guys. He's going all the way from the U.S. down to Buenos Aires, Argentina, to go see his girlfriend. That's love. That's badass. I like that. Oh, okay, so we got a little bit of a sideways view on this. I don't know why they screwed up the recording, but yeah, we're going to play it. This is wild. I don't know when this is from. This is in Kansas City. Not my video. This was posted in Kansas City Reddit, but this happened this morning. This was 20 hours ago. I know it's sideways. I can't help it. We're going to have to watch it, though. It's pretty important.
So, how's it going? Oh, excuse me, that's implied. Hey, get shields over here! Why do you need shields? I'm just chilling, bro.
You're not going to invade our men's privacy.
What a bunch of fucking incel losers. Cussed again.
Your privacy. You're in public, bro. Why do you need to be private to... I thought you'd be proud of your opinions. Why you gotta cover up your face? Shouldn't you be proud of what you preach? Might want to shave that nose hair, bud. That's embarrassing.
Got him on the nose hair.
Hand them all to each other. Let's get a little teamwork here, boys. What the fuck's going on? Where's the fucking shields at? Let's go. Anybody want to share their name? Anybody want to share their face, or are you too embarrassed?
So let me help you go back to your friends. That's
What friends? I'm here alone, you pussy.
No, we're just trying to make sure that our guys get home safe and sound.
I bet you are.
Cool. So
because you're not welcome here.
So you can go over there.
This is public property.
You can go over there.
No, we're doing it for your benefit. For my benefit? Because I'm a white male?
Whatever.
Yeah, that's right.
If you or anybody...
Say it out loud.
Yeah, so just go on.
Get out of here. Where?
Get out of here.
This is public. You get the fuck out of here. You're
We're
not
not
welcome here.
what do you think we're doing?
Good. Get the fuck out.
All right. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Thank you very
What's your name?
My name is... Please leave. Yeah.
Load up.
All right.
Thanks, Sam. What's
You're
your
welcome.
last name?
My name is Happy Memorial Day.
Hey, have a good one, guys. Thanks for getting the fuck out of here. Please don't return.
Okay, so the black numbers and letters at the tops of the U-Hauls, local U-Hauls, and yeah, those are pretty much the identification numbers on these things. They're breaking the policies of U-Haul by doing this, guys, and get banned for renting if U-Haul were to get a hold of this video, because you are not allowed to transport people in the back of a U-Haul.
Yeah, what's your name, bud?
Thomas Ryan Rousseau.
Thanks, Thomas.
Thomas Ryan Rousseau wanted to give a shout out, guys.
I bet you're trying to get famous with Trump for this. What? You gonna run for office now?
What?
You gonna run for office now?
Maybe.
Are you from here?
All right, cool. Texas.
Get the fuck out of here. What are you doing?
I got people from the whole country here.
That's how many it takes to get a couple hundred? The whole country. You're embarrassing. You're embarrassing. Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, flat-footed bastard run.
Nice job, Tubbs. Patriot official from Texas. I don't see anything. That's embarrassing. Hey, have fun in that hot box, guys.
Live here, bitch! Get the fuck out of here! You disgust me!
Go back to your hometown, motherfucker!
I don't know exactly what organization they call themselves, but that looked very neo-Nazi-esque.
Thanks to the current state of...
Wild. That was in Kansas. And they weren't even from there. They were gathered from around the world. Or from around the country, they said. Yeah, it's illegal as F to ride in the back of the truck, like, in all 50 states. Like, and the cop was letting him do it. What was up with that? Did you see that? He was there like, get out of their way, folks. How about write him a ticket and seize the vehicle?
Are you okay? Can you tell us what happened? Are you okay? Can you tell us what happened?
I have not been told that I am under arrest.
You have not been told that you're under arrest?
So that was the Proud Boys. That's what I thought. It was the Proud Boys. They had the rebel flags. They had typical Proud Boy clothing. Yeah. More Trumpy Proud Boys.
Hey, chill. Have you been told what you're under arrest for? Do you know why you're under arrest?
Attack me with their bike, twisting my leg.
Move back.
Do you know what you're under arrest for?
This is May 24th in Seattle.
Go back. Don't be alright. Remain silent.
Please go straight. Back up, please. Thank you.
What are they under arrest for?
What are they under arrest for?
What are they under arrest for?
Can you explain what they're under arrest for?
What are they under arrest for?
What are they under arrest for?
What are they under arrest for?
I'm a tax-paying citizen. I pay your salary. Why are you arresting my neighbors?
What are they under arrest for? Because they know you're going to eat them? I've repeatedly asked for medical attention and they have not provided. What are they under arrest for? Who's in charge?
Please get off of me. We are pressed, both of us.
Why are you?
Off of her, pig. Who's in charge?
Dude.
You have a... What are these people under arrest for?
What crime was committed by a single one of these people?
What are they under arrest?
All right, someone put in...
What are they...
Someone put in the description here... yes, Officer Jeffrey Allen, 13 incidences, including violence, since he was hired in 2019, and yet he makes $100,000 a year or more. Imagine getting written up 13 times at your job. How would you go for anyone else?
Under arrest for?
Are you okay, Hannah?
Yeah, I'm okay. Are you?
They fucking threw me around to try and... Amelia, both of us.
Yep, you're welcome to film. Just gotta get to the stage.
Can you tell us what these people are under arrest for?
Back up.
Is that all you know how to say to me? Back up?
Do you know what you're under arrest for?
I do not know what I am under arrest for.
Thank you. Do you know what you're under arrest for? Have you been explained your rights?
Go back, please. Go away.
What are they under arrest for? Not a single one of you knows. None of you knows why any of these people are under arrest. Fucking cowards. None of you know. So you're all admitting that you're arresting these people for no reason. No reason whatsoever. No reason at all. What are they under arrest for? Sergeant 1, Sergeant 2, Sergeant 3, Sergeant 4. What are they under arrest for? Are they scary? What are they under arrest for? There's one reason. What are they under arrest for?
Oh, I'd like to hear the story behind that. Doesn't sound like they're giving a lot of answers there, yeah?
On Tuesday, we were made aware of an ICE raid involving a number of our Maui teachers. All of them came here to Hawaii to help with our teacher shortage. As more information came to light, the details were quite distressing. ICE put out a statement that gave the impression that they just went in, did a little search, and left. What was lacking was any remorse for the trauma that these educators were subjected to.
Thank you, Osa. I am a teacher here on Maui. I'm a U.S. citizen. I live on Maui with other fellow teachers who are here on visas. And I just wanted to share details of what happened early Tuesday morning. At 6:15 in the morning, Tuesday morning, I woke up to agents dressed in black with guns outside of my window, pounding at the door, saying to open up and that they had a warrant. I gently opened the door a crack and asked them if they were ICE and for identification. They rushed past me, pointing guns, telling me that they were looking for a convicted felon. I told the one man that I was the U.S. citizen, and can I show a passport? And there are teachers up here that are here legally. Can they show their IDs and their visas? I was denied. As I noticed that they pointed their guns and ushered the other teachers, including myself, down the stairs. As we went down the stairs, I noticed that they had ICE on their backs and HST. As we went down the stairs, I saw that the landlord and the family was off to the side of the house being held from the rest of us. They brought me down to the front of the home with the other teachers that were there. There was about 10 to 12 teachers with their families and their children. There were several agents with guns surrounding us outside of the home and also outside in the street. The first thing I saw when they brought me down to the front, that I said when they brought me down to the front was that I was a U.S. citizen and that we are all teachers here and family members of teachers. Can we show you some identification and proof that we are here legally? They wouldn't allow me to do so and said that they needed to get everyone's names down to double check to see if the person they were looking for was here. As time went on, they began to write names on a pad, and they were radioing the names to an agent in an unmarked van that I guess was identifying them on the opposite side of the street. In that moment, I began to notice that some of the people around me were shaking, and that one of the teacher's daughters who was in front was crying. And I was really concerned, so I asked again gently if we could show them documentation.
This is the United States of America where this is happening. Like, this is wild.
Prove our identity. And once again, I was told no. By then, a considerable time had passed, and one of the teachers asked if we could notify our principal because it was getting close to the beginning of the school day and they would need to get substitute teachers for us if we missed school. I reiterated that and said, please, if we can get our phones, we can show proof of our identity and be able to contact.
Oh, ICE raids in Hawaii, guys. We got some protesting going on here, though.
That are $10,000 a month. And really, you look at me. I'm from Youngstown, Ohio. How if you cut all these cuts, how the hell would I be able to shop at your store?
On Tuesday.
That was in Ohio. People pissed off about the Medicaid cuts. So ICE is not invincible. Police are not invincible. It says right here, a new video circulating online shows protesters gathering in support of Gaza and physically positioning themselves between ICE agents and individuals believed to be unfairly targeted. The crowd chanting and holding their ground creates a wall of human resistance, not violent, but firm and loud. It's a reminder that peaceful protest can mean more than signs and slogans. Sometimes it means putting your body in the way of unjust power. These are the moments that challenge authority, not just symbolically, but physically, by scrutiny and resistance. This tactic is especially potent when the state is caught on camera, meeting nonviolent defiance with disproportionate force. Pretty wild. They were noting that we saw the strategy change the course of history recently in South Korea. Protesters there were furious. President Yoon Suk Yeol's crackdown on dissent and his abuse of emergency powers took to the streets not just with banners but with their bodies. When police tried to detain members of the opposition party, it was the people, lined shoulder to shoulder, who stepped between them. Yeah. Video froze? No. They just replay it to make the video longer. All right, a little bit more here. This guy's going to protest at the Capitol building. This is kind of wild.
I'm currently doing one of the most ridiculous things I've ever done, which is riding a Lime bike to the U.S. Capitol at 3 a.m. because Republicans are trying to gut Medicaid. And if I am a pediatrician who works in D.C., who just works past midnight, trying to make sure that my Medicaid patients get the best care possible when they need it, I'm sure as hell gonna roll up in my Lime bike to the U.S. Capitol and have something to say about it. I have no idea what this is gonna be like. I don't really know if I can have any impact, but you know what? There's people there, there are members of Congress there, and this is how we're rolling up. I'll keep you posted.
This gives me like East Coast NAFO vibes. Pretty sweet.
Other news, a high-ranking Mexican official here at the border has had her tourist visa to the U.S. suddenly revoked.
The governor of Baja California says she's done nothing wrong, and the State Department has not responded to questions on why. NBC 7's Shelby Bremer has details.
Officials on both sides of the U.S.-Mexico border here often tout their collaboration, and that comes with many trips back and forth. But now the visas of both the governor of Baja California and her husband have been revoked. They say they don't know why, but they're confident it will become clear.
No significa que yo haya cometido algo malo.
Baja California's Governor Marina del Pilar on Monday addressing the cancellation of her tourist visa that allows her to enter the United States. Just because the State Department revoked my visa, she says, that doesn't mean I've done anything wrong. She and her husband, Carlos Torres, both notified of their revocations over the weekend. Both say they're awaiting answers and a resolution.
I'm not surprised. This is a direct reflection of the State Department under the Trump administration cracking down on various misuses of the visa program.
San Diego immigration attorney Esther Valdez Clayton says there are many reasons a visa can be revoked.
It's not permission to work, so that's one of the big ones. The second one is that they enter with a visitor visa saying they're coming here to shop, when indeed they're coming here to stay.
Another, giving birth in the United States. Clayton says that's at the center of the State Department's current crackdown, and she points to the governor's 2 children born in Brawley, California.
We do not know why the visa was revoked. Factually, we do know that she has 2 U.S.-born children and that she entered with a visitor visa, which in and of itself would have been a visa violation.
Mexican President Claudia Sheinbaum on Tuesday asserted the American government has told her simply it's a private matter. Clayton says, regardless of reason...
It's a private matter? How is that a private matter? It's a public figure.
The revocation of a high-ranking Mexican official signals a new day of immigration enforcement under President Donald Trump.
I think it sends a chill and a message to everybody. You cannot misuse the visa. You cannot lie to immigration officers. When you purport to state that you're coming to the United States to visit, you have to come visit.
Clayton says it also raises questions on birthright citizenship, with Trump's challenge to the 14th Amendment.
I'm currently doing one of the most ridiculous...
That's wild. Baja California governor visa revoked.
He meets his attorney
All right, here's some more on, what is this? I forgot this guy's name.
in the hallway and walks towards Circuit Court Judge Hannah Dugan's courtroom. Along the way, he passes...
So this is Judge Hannah Dugan apparently sneaking an illegal immigrant out of the building by deceiving ICE agents. The footage shows Eduardo Flores Ruiz being snuck out of the courtroom before he got in a foot race with agents.
Plainclothes federal agents who are sitting on a bench. They are there to detain him. After Flores Ruiz walks by, the agents turn to each other and appear to confirm his identity amongst themselves. But a few moments later, Judge Dugan and another judge approach the agents sitting on the bench. A criminal complaint against Dugan later said she was alerted to their presence by a court official. That complaint says during this interaction, Dugan and the agents disagreed over the type of warrant they had to arrest Flores Ruiz. According to the complaint, Dugan ordered the agents to go to the chief judge's office. Video shows her pointing them through a double door. She then turns back to speak with other agents further down the hall and orders them through the doors as well. Shortly after that, with the agents gone from the hallway, Eduardo Flores Ruiz and his attorney exit into the hallway through a different door. As they walk down the hall toward the elevators, they pass another plainclothes federal agent. Neither they nor Judge Dugan seem to have noticed at the time. That agent motions to another to follow Flores Ruiz. Security video shows Flores Ruiz exiting through a basement exit. Upstairs on the 6th floor, the other agents have left the chief judge's office and worked their way downstairs. Flores Ruiz left the building onto 9th Street. Videos of the street shows the agents catching up to him. Flores Ruiz runs across 10th Street while trying to get away, but the agents catch him and arrest him.
Get that cardio going, buddy.
Mexican official.
That's crazy. Anyways, I didn't see that footage before, so I thought I'd share that one. This is in Nashville.
Y'all don't even have a warrant. No tiene que salir, no diga nada, no firme nada, no tiene que salir. No diga nada, no firme nada, no firme nada. Let him go. Y'all no diga nada. No diga nada, no diga nada. Don't say nothing. Hey. What are you doing? What are you doing?
Leave him alone.
No firme nada, no diga nada. What are you doing? No diga nada.
Y'all wrong as hell. Y'all are wrong. Y'all just snatching motherfuckers up for the fuck.
Why is he getting him? No diga nada, no firme nada. Usted tiene derecho. No diga nada, no firme nada. Y diga a todos los hispanos que no firme nada y no diga nada. Tiene derechos. Quédese callado desde ahorita, no diga nada.
I can't read Spanish, or I'd tell you the captions. I can't speak Spanish either.
What are your badge numbers? No firmes nada. No firme nada, no diga nada. Oye, señor, ¿cómo te llamas? What y'all are doing is illegal. ¿Cómo te llamas? This is kidnapping.
I hope you're happy, assholes. Tomorrow's Mother's Day. I hope you're happy, fuckers. Can't believe you would do something like this. You're a man of color. You know how it is.
Step back. Step back up. Step back up.
They are stepping back. They are stepping back. They are trying.
Holy shit.
Step back.
You shut up talking to me.
Bro, we ain't got to listen to you at all. Dead ass. Y'all wrong in the motherfucker.
He came out of his vehicle without a judicial warrant. What is your name and address? What did he do?
Hey, he ain't do
What
nothing.
was the traffic violation? We have not gotten any answers. Get the fuck out of Nashville. We do not want y'all here. We do not want you here.
Is he a rapist? Is he a fucking Fendadagua? He's not, right?
Get out.
He didn't do shit, did he?
Have a good night.
No, fucker. Tomorrow's Mother's Day. Look what you're doing.
They just got torn
You
away from
fucker.
their families. Are you going to have a good night going home thinking about what you just did? No diga nada, no firme nada.
Fuckers.
What, he was now? So you are a black.
Yuck. I like the fact that she brought up, are you going to go home and think about what you just did?
Oh, and they're saying they're pulling over from Tren de Aragua. What was he doing? Is he a gang member? No, he's not. He's not a fucking gang member. He's not from a Tren de Aragua. Fucking Trump and everybody saying they're pulling over gangsters and all that is not true. You're pulling over hard-working people. Fuck you, asshole. Motherfuckers. Was he a criminal? No, he was not. Fucking idiots.
Can't tell the difference between the ICE agents and the Proud Boys the way they're dressed. Facts.
Motherfuckers, I hate them so much. I hate them. This is the motherfuckers that are doing all this. Fucking ICE motherfuckers. Die fucker. Bitch ass. Fuck you. Fuck you, asshole. Fuck you! Fuck you! Fuck you! Idiots. Motherfuckers.
Yeah, they're not showing any judicial warrants when they're doing this, just pulling people out of vehicles. It's fucking wild. I cussed again.
4:30, a U.S. military wife from Australia is sharing her story after she was detained by border officials at the Honolulu airport.
Our Annalisa Burgos spoke to her about what she's calling the holiday from hell.
Last Sunday, 25-year-old Nicole Sirocos was looking forward to a 3-week vacation in Honolulu with her mom.
That's where my mother and father had their honeymoon, so it held a very sentimental
I'm gonna grab some
place
coffee.
in
I'll be
her
right back.
heart.
It was Sirocos' third visit to see her husband Matt, a U.S. Army lieutenant stationed on Oahu. The newlyweds married last December. She said she hadn't had issues before, but this time, U.S. border officials at Honolulu Airport flagged her for additional screening.
He went from completely composed to just yelling at the top of his lungs, telling my mother to go stand at the back of the line and to, excuse my language, shut up. So I automatically started crying because that was my first response.
Sirocco said they were taken to a holding room, their bags and phones were searched, and they were asked a slew of questions. Everything from her work as a former police officer to whether her tattoos were gang-related to her marriage to an American.
When I did say that I was married to somebody in the U.S. Army, the officers laughed at me. They thought it was quite comical. I don't know whether they thought I was telling the truth or not. They kept telling me that I had too many clothes in my suitcase. So because of that, they assumed that I was going to overstay my visa.
Sirocco's was subject to more screening. Her fingerprints and a DNA swab of her mouth were taken, while her mother was free to go. Her heart sunk when officials told her she would be declined entry to the U.S. and deported back to Australia the next day.
And he said, so basically what is going to happen is we're going to send you to a prison overnight where you'll stay.
Use the word prison?
Prison. Yes.
Not detention center, but a
Not
prison.
detention center, he said prison. And I automatically I started crying again. Because when you think prison, you think big time criminals. Like, I don't know who
Yeah, the way they're wording that alone, that's a scare tactic. They're just trying to install fear.
who I'm being housed with.
Sirocco said officials conducted a body cavity search, walked her through the airport in handcuffs.
And she had to do a body cavity search. Huh.
And drove her to the federal detention center.
They stated, no, you're not under arrest. You haven't done anything wrong and you will be facing no criminal charges. So I was very confused as to why this was all happening.
At the prison, Sirocco's was strip searched and detained with women who had been convicted of murder and drug offenses. Because she had missed the cutoff for dinner, she was not given food. At no point was she allowed to call her husband or mother.
And I found that so absurd because if I'm going to be there overnight, my right, just as a human being, should be to contact at least one person.
After a sleepless night, she was brought back to the airport the next morning, where her mother joined her. Only then was she offered a phone call with her husband.
I think we were both just very emotional. We hadn't spoken to each other in 24 hours.
How would you like to be serving in the United States military and hear this story from your wife?
He didn't know where I was or whether I was safe. It's not only myself. It's my mother and my husband that also had to endure that pain. You know, my husband being a current serving member, to serve his country and to be treated in that way, I find very disgusting.
Sirocco's husband is now in Sydney with his wife. She says she wants people to know the risks of traveling to the U.S. now.
It's made it physically impossible for me to even ever enter the United States ever again.
What does that mean for your marriage?
At the time, I felt like my world came crashing down. I felt like my marriage was over when they told me that. And that's something that they've taken away from me as well.
Immigration attorneys say detainees are entitled to a phone call if they are held for several hours. U.S. Customs and Border Protection says they're working on a statement for our story. They did say that decisions on entry are not taken lightly and many factors are considered. Annalisa Burgos, Hawaii News Now.
Oh, there it is. United States service members having their wives deported for no reason other than she had too much clothing coming over. This is America now, guys. This is wild. This is what we gotta deal with. Oh, I'm so pissed off that this happened. I am so pissed off that we let this happen. I know a lot of us here tried everything we could to fight this entire time. I'm not saying us, but it just pisses me off to see this shit happening now, unfolding. Like, I thought it would be better, like, I'd feel better telling everybody I told you so. I don't feel any better telling I told you so. It's too late for that. We have to have change, like, immediately. Midterms are coming up, but we can't wait for midterms. We need to contact representatives now and start pushing back on many topics. Everybody does. Weekly, daily. You can call daily. Call your reps. Do whatever you can. It's wild. Absolutely wild. Let's go into a little Gaza real quick. I don't cover much Gaza, but it looks like it's getting really, really bad there.
Amid the crush of bodies clamoring for food, children are being put to an unthinkable test. Who will manage to fill their family pot, and who will have to wait another day to eat? This is how Gaza's children are being forced to live as Israel continues to block the entry of food. A total siege that is now in its 11th week. A boy burnt by the small prize of lentil soup he has managed to win. A girl scooping what remains with her bare hands. But before it all,
this shit pisses me off more than anything else. Having children suffering. And if anybody's just blindly supporting Israel because they're God's people, just remember that even in the Bible, there was wicked, terrible kings throughout the entire history of these Israelites and Hebrews. It went back and forth. So you can't just blindly support them if you're a religious person supporting Israel because they're God's people. These are God's people too.
Search for food for them and their families with no guarantee of success. I wake up every day, then we go find a kitchen. If we don't find food, then we go to another kitchen and another kitchen, Muhammad explains. If we don't find anything, we go all day without food. Nearly all of Gaza's population now experiencing crisis levels of food insecurity or worse, with 56% at the emergency or catastrophic level, meaning very high rates of acute malnutrition and large gaps in food consumption. Unless aid gets in, more than 3/4 of the population are projected to fall to those emergency levels. As this man-made crisis worsens, Israel and the United States approving a new, tightly controlled mechanism to get aid into some parts of Gaza. A person involved in the planning said Israel has agreed to allow some aid into Gaza in the coming days, but Israel has yet to say so publicly. The UN says it won't participate, saying the new...
All these people here are an inconvenience to Donald Trump. They're in his way from his hotel and his Gaza Strip.
Plan will make things worse, facilitating forced displacement and putting civilians at risk. Amid the crush of bodies...
More.
This is barbarism. This is inhumanity on a scale that I thought had been consigned to the history books. This is behavior so disgusting, so despicable, to the point where Israeli citizens, politicians, and public figures, when presented with evidence...
More.
Amid the...
Desperately hungry Palestinians scrambled to try and get their share of Gaza's first freshly baked bread in weeks after Israeli partially eased its total blockade of the Strip.
What we brought is definitely not enough, but we hope that the borders will remain open and we'll be able to bring more aid. 2.2 million people of Gaza, almost everyone depends on humanitarian aid.
The desperation in those people's eyes is absolutely heartbreaking to me. It's just insane. We're letting people just starve. It's absolutely insane. And like I said, they're just an inconvenience to Trump. They're in his way from his plans. All right, let's get into the meat of it. We got a lot. I saved a bunch of political videos. A lot going on in politics right now. I'm taking a peek. I gotta see where I left off here. I saved a bunch. We all know Biden has prostate cancer. Well, I will cover it.
Former President Biden has been diagnosed with prostate cancer, according to a statement released by his personal office just moments ago. They say the diagnosis, which was made on Friday, is a more aggressive form of prostate cancer, which has already spread to his bones. The former president is 82 years old, and his office says he and his family are reviewing treatment options with his doctors. They also say the cancer appears to be hormone sensitive, which allows for what they call effective management.
On the Monday that he got it.
All right, well, there it is. He's got cancer.
This is in scale and in scope and in...
So they're going to talk about biggest espionage operation against the U.S. in its history.
Brazenness.
This is China with their spies.
The biggest espionage operation against the U.S. in its history.
Jim Lewis is a former U.S. diplomat whose direct experience with China's intelligence agencies spans more than 30 years. He says since President Xi Jinping came to power in 2012, China's spies no longer seem to fear the U.S.
Why do China's espionage efforts appear to be growing so big, so fast under Xi Jinping?
Xi Jinping thinks it's China's time to move to the center of the world stage. Xi Jinping looks at the West and at the U.S. and says, these people are feeble-minded, and I'm going to be able to beat them.
Former President Biden has been diagnosed.
100%. I think I have also more on that article coming up. I think I might.
So moments ago, the Trump administration just had the U.S. Secret Service come to my house. You might be wondering...
Hey, you guys follow this guy, Brian Krasenstein?
Why? Because yesterday I made a post that said 8647, which means, if you look it up, get rid of Trump, as in impeach Donald Trump, as in 25th Amendment Donald Trump, as in vote Trump out of office. Why, you may ask? Because last night on the news, Donald Trump made the claim that 8647 means assassinate him, which it doesn't. I would absolutely never, ever call for violence against anyone, let alone the President of the United States. So the Secret Service agents were extremely friendly. They were like, yeah, we understand. It's just something we have to do because Washington told us to. Washington told them to come give me a visit. That's what he said. Trump wants to be a dictator, and I will not be intimidated into not voicing my opinions or my dissent against him, ever.
So I've been watching Brian and Ed Krasenstein for a while on social media, on different platforms. This is wild, guys. This is wild. They would send Secret Service PT because he tweeted out 8647. 86. That is not threatening. That's remove from office. That's not a threat at all. 86 86 someone from your house, 86 someone from the property. You're 86 from a grocery store or whatever. You're 86. You're kicked out. There's no reference to violence from 86. This is absolutely wild.
When Biden was president, multiple large social media accounts on the right used the term 8646, meaning get rid of Biden. But now they want to create this new meaning in order to go after people who disagree with them. We're not going to become a dictatorship. Keep fighting back in a non-violent way.
Great words, and I agree with him 100%.
We're happy to just ignore the fact that these are out there watching us.
That's the wrong clip. We'll get into that on a different one. That's supposed to go in the wild category. I miscategorized it.
The president has accused in recent months South Africa of genocide, and you have heard the South African president pushing back very strongly on this, pointing to a number of reasons why he says that is simply not
exactly 86 from the bar for being a dumbass.
true, and yet this confrontation here persists. You get the impression that perhaps President Trump wanted this to happen as it is playing out, wanted these potentially clearly uncomfortable moments here. There is a backdrop to this, of course, in that President Trump's close confidant has been for months now.
What? Yeah, it's a good boy. Do exactly what I told you. Look at this. Just because Elon Musk is getting quiet doesn't mean he's going anywhere. He's just shutting up. Someone told him, shut up and do things from behind the scenes like all the other billionaires.
Elon Musk, who's from South Africa, who's also been outspoken and vocal on this. And it comes as the Trump administration has also, even as they have essentially shut down the U.S. to most refugees around the nation, have opened U.S. borders to white South Africans to come into the country here.
We're happy to just...
After viewing a thing where thousands of people are dead,
I'm sorry, I don't have a plane to give you.
I wish you did.
Dang, I'm sorry I don't have a plane to give you. Roasting him.
I would take it. If your country offered the United States Air Force a plane, I would take it.
Okay. But coming back to this issue, which I really would like us to talk about.
He didn't even realize he just got shit on there. He didn't even realize it.
And talk about it very calmly. We were taught by Nelson Mandela that whenever there are problems, people need to sit down around a table and talk about them.
Well, there are
and this is precisely what we would also like to talk about, including, of course, trade matters, investment matters. So the issues that concern you as the United States.
Those are all recent. And those are all deaths.
Yeah, in many ways, I mean, one should say you are a partner of South Africa, and you are raising concerns, and these are concerns that we are willing to talk to you about. Let me just add quickly, you know, the criminality that we are experiencing in our country needs quite a lot of technological capability. And in one of our areas in South Africa, we're using US technology, which is able to, in many ways, identify where shootings are happening and all that. And I'd like to talk about that because there is support that we can get from you as the United States to help us.
He was showing pictures of the Congo. It wasn't even, oh my God. It wasn't even South Africa. He was just like, oh, Africa.
Deal with all these acts of criminality. And that is what I believe partnership is all about. And we are here as a partner so that we can help each other whenever there are challenges.
He can't even look at him. He's like, no,
So I'd like us to discuss it, and of course outside of the media, so that we sit down and have a really good discussion that will lead to...
The president has accused...
That's wild. Wild. Oh, more wild.
Okay, so what are you asking?
Would you please, so that the American public knows what this bill does, one of the little things that it does, would you please read page 901, line 20?
I think it'd be better if you read it.
Oh, he doesn't want to read it.
I'll
read it.
I know the
actually,
legislation, but I'm
Ranking
not
Member
be part
Moore.
of your little
Ranking Member
show
Moore
here, so you can read it.
It was a question if you would read it, so I'll ask Ranking
And I said
Member
no.
Moore to read the text. This is in their bill. They don't want to read a line from their own bill. Ranking Member.
I don't want to read the bill for you. I'll help you out. I am testifying about this legislation. I'm not going to read the bill to you.
Okay, I am This is amazing.
Ms.
We
Lager
are
Fernandez, shall I pass this back or shall I read
No,
it for
why
you?
don't you just read it?
I am a member of this committee. I am the ranking vice chair of the committee. It says Section 111106, repeal of excise tax on indoor tanning services.
So they're going to repeal, they're repealing an excise tax on tanning beds. They're repealing a tax on silencers. At the same, so they're going to, okay, so if you have a tanning bed, you get a little bit of a tax break. And if you need a hospital bed in rural America, I'm sorry, you're out of luck, right? And I don't know where this particular provision came from. We do know that there are certain elected officials who appear to have a certain orange hue about them, that maybe they want to make sure that tanning beds get a little bit of special credit. But really, we are prioritizing tanning beds over hospital beds in rural America.
After viewing a thing where thousands...
Dang, dude. That's wild. I like the way she worded that, too. Tanning beds in, Medicaid, hospital beds out.
Mr. President, add this to the long and growing list of...
Oh, my God. Here comes the Golden Dome. This Golden Dome shit doesn't work without Canada's support. This is insane.
And promises kept. Ultimately, this right here, the Golden Dome for America, is game changer. It's a generational investment in the security of America. And
I got
Americans.
a fucking Golden Dome for America.
We're going to secure our southern border.
Suck
we get
it.
100% operational control after the previous administration allowed an invasion of people into our country. President Reagan 40 years ago cast the vision for it. The technology wasn't there. Now it is, and you're following through to say we will protect the homeland from cruise missiles, ballistic missiles, hypersonic missiles.
Who's shooting missiles at us? Who? Nobody. Nobody is. This is...
Drones, whether they're conventional or nuclear. It's not lost on me, sir, also that you had the vision to start the Space Force. And here we are when the others said we didn't need it, here we are in the Oval Office with one of the leaders of the Space Force in General Gutlein leading the charge on putting in place a game-changing Golden Dome for America. So, sir, it's an honor to be a part of this bold initiative. We're going to get to work on it. We have been since you signed that executive order on January 27th.
Looks more like a prison than it does anything.
We've been fast forward on this. We're here on this day, and this is just one stop in delivering this defense of the homeland, which is something you've charged us with doing, and we'll keep going until it is complete, sir.
Okay, so what are you asking?
Yeah, the Orange Dome. Everybody gets to be covered by the Orange Dome.
Do you want to respond to President Biden being diagnosed with cancer? Are you going to call your predecessor?
I think it's very sad, actually. I'm surprised that it wasn't, the public wasn't notified a long time ago, because to get to stage 9, that's a long time. I just had my physical. You saw that. You saw the results of that particular test. I think that test is standard to pretty much anybody getting a physical, good physical. We had the doctors at the White House and over at Walter Reed, which is a fantastic hospital. I did a very complete physical, including cognitive tests. I'm proud to announce I aced it.
See, it's all about him now. We turned it from Biden has cancer, it's sad, to I'm smart.
Oh, I got them all right. You proud of me? Yes, your husband would be proud of me for getting them all right. It's a little risk. If I didn't get them all right, these people would be after me. It would be not a good situation. But I think, frankly, anybody running for president should take a cognitive test. They say it's unconstitutional, but I would say in that particular case, having a cognitive test wouldn't be so bad. But when you take tests, medical, as a male, that test is very standard. I don't know if it's given to everybody, but it's given just about. And it takes a long time to get to that situation. Now, I think, to get to a stage 9, I think that if you take a look, it's the same doctor that said that Joe was cognitively fine. There was nothing wrong with him. Well, he said, if it's the same doctor, he said there was nothing wrong there, and that's being proven to be a sad situation. And the auto pen is becoming a very big deal. You know, the auto pen is becoming a big deal because it seems like that maybe was the president who ever operated the auto pen. But when they say that that was not good, they also, you know, you have to look and you have to say that the test was not so good either. In other words, there are things going on that the public wasn't informed, and I think somebody's going to have to speak to his doctor, if it's the same, or even if it's two separate doctors. Why wasn't the cognitive ability, why wasn't that discussed? And I think the doctor said he's just fine, and it's turned out that's not so. It's very dangerous. Look, this is no longer politically correct. This is dangerous for our country. Look at the mess we're in. You're talking about all these questions on Ukraine and Russia that would have never happened. As an example, if I were president, would have never happened. The other thing is you have to say, why did it take so long? I mean, when you, this takes a long time. It can take years to get to this level of danger. So it's a very, very sad situation, and I feel very badly about it. And I think people should try and find out what happened, because I'll tell you, I don't know if it had anything to do with the hospital. Walter Reed is really good. They're some of the best doctors I've ever seen. I don't even know if they were involved, but a doctor was involved in each case. Maybe it was the same doctor, and somebody is not telling the facts. That's a big problem.
How's this guy going to call out somebody not telling the facts?
You campaigned on lowering the price of groceries. How do you justify cutting food assistance in this bill?
Let me just tell you, the cut is going to give everybody much more food because prices are coming way down. Groceries are down. Eggs. You told me about eggs. You asked me a question about eggs my first week. You said eggs. I said, I just got here. Tell me about eggs. And there's going through the roof. You know that eggs now are way down. Everybody's buying eggs.
So apparently cutting aid for food lowers food prices in his mind.
Groceries down, energy's down, gasoline is now they're buying gasoline now for $1.99. If you look back, you'll see $3.50, $4. This country, we're going to lose this country. Our country now is respected all over the world. All over the world we're respected.
Do you want to respond to President Biden?
Freaking nutball.
4 months ago, you sat in that chair and you said that China is, quote...
Look at his body language. He's slumped down into it, just staring off. Oh, God, here we go.
...the most potent and dangerous near-peer adversary this nation has ever confronted. You called China an industrial competitor, an economic competitor, a geopolitical competitor, a scientific competitor. I believe you were right. And yet, this administration has eviscerated 6 decades of American foreign policy investments, undercutting our ability to compete with adversaries like China. And Beijing is not just sitting back. As Elon Musk took a chainsaw to USAID and you proposed cutting 83% of foreign assistance programs, China has promised increasing its diplomatic budget by 8.4%. As we move to reduce our diplomatic workforce and discuss closing U.S. embassies, China has more diplomatic missions than any other nation on Earth.
We've completely lost our geopolitical stance in the world for probably the rest of our existence.
And as the U.S. canceled PEPFAR, our most successful program fighting HIV/AIDS, China has been happy to replace our global health efforts across Africa and Asia. As this administration distracts from serious national security issues with threats against Panama and Greenland, Xi Jinping has welcomed Brazil's president and other Latin American leaders pledging more than $9 billion in investments. And as the U.S. has shuttered Voice of America and Radio Free Asia and crippled the State Department's ability to counter foreign propaganda, China pours billions into propaganda, spreading lies and eroding trust in the U.S. As this administration imposes tariffs on our closest allies, China is courting them in Europe, in Asia, and in our own hemisphere. Beijing is making the case that they are, and the term they are using is frightening, they are a more reliable partner than the United States.
I think at this point they are. I think at this point the tariffs and the destabilization over here, China has now became the world's go-to for, obviously, for deals. And it might be planned. I don't know. But the way this has all kind of been set up is only strengthen China 100% and Russia.
And it's not just our allies. Xi has deepened ties with Putin, shielding the Russian economy from sanctions. Because of that, and because President Trump has given away our leverage, Putin doesn't feel pressure to agree to a ceasefire in Ukraine. And for all the administration's talk, for all Elon Musk's promises, according to reports, DOGE has not saved a dime. CBS News reports that the federal government has spent $200 billion more in its first 100 days than it did last year. And according to the Partnership for Public Service, DOGE's cuts might cost American taxpayers $135 billion this year. This is in addition to the costs to American families and businesses stemming from the president's trade war. I recently met with a New Hampshire company that provides ball bearings to the aerospace industry. They do a lot of their business with defense. Their lead time for steel has gone from 20 weeks to 2.5 years because of the tariffs on steel. We can't support our defense industry with a 2.5-year lead time on steel.
2.5 years for the defense contracts to get their steel, to make stuff to defend our country and replenish our supplies.
According to the Yale Budget Lab, consumers face an overall tariff rate of 17.8%, which is the highest since 1934. That's $2,800 per household each year. And these tariffs amount to the largest tax increase during peacetime in U.S. history. 4 months ago, Mr. Secretary, you said we were going to be safer, stronger, and more prosperous. But whether it's President Trump's deals with the Sinaloa cartel to let cartel members into the United States, or watching masked agents abduct a Tufts college student, I don't feel safer. With Canadians canceling summer trips to New Hampshire and hurting our tourism industry, I don't feel more prosperous. And after traveling to Ukraine and visiting the graves of people who were massacred on the orders of a Russian president this administration has bent over backwards to please, I don't feel more secure. To your credit, Mr. Secretary, your trip and the statement from President Trump that he will be lifting sanctions on Syria was welcome news. And you've worked to restart some programs and grant waivers to others. But contrary to what we've heard, life-saving health and humanitarian aid is still not flowing in any meaningful way. My staff was just in Africa. We have photos of the empty shelves and closed-down clinics. We were promised a golden age for America, but instead our disease surveillance programs are down, our counterterrorism programs are in chaos, the ceasefire in Gaza has ended and fighting has begun again, and we have unilaterally disarmed against some of our most dangerous adversaries. You know, one of the things that I'll never forget in the past 4 months is my trip to Ukraine, where we stopped in Poland, which has been one of the most pro-American countries in the world. But because of the cuts and the stop work orders, we met with one civil society leader who was working with Ukrainian refugees. And he said to me, to the Codel, we always looked up to Americans. You are our trusted ally. My trust in America is broken. They were told to remove all the American flags with the halt on assistance to foreign assistance. Removing all the American flags is a sad commentary on the foreign assistance legacy for this administration. American flags coming down around the world.
You campaigned on
Senator Jean Shaheen, New Hampshire, letting Rubio hear about it, and he knows it. You can tell, you can see from here in his face, he knows it. He knows all of it, and he just has to sit there and take it. The most uncomfortable man on the cabinet. Complete coward.
The great American city of Chicago is so big and so dominant in its influence in its part of the country that the whole area around Chicago for miles and miles is called Chicagoland. I've always loved that. You know, nobody talks about New York land or San Francisco land, right? For all of the swagger of those American cities, only Chicago has enough swagger that its whole region is Chicagoland. It's a very Chicago designation. The city of Aurora, Illinois is, I think fair to say, sort of on the edge of Chicagoland. It's about 30 miles from downtown Chicago. And this weekend, there were 15,000 people who signed up to join hands, to literally line up next to each other, to cover that whole 30-mile distance between Chicago and Aurora, Illinois, all to protest President Donald Trump and the actions of the Trump administration. 15,000 people in a single line over 30 miles. They called it Hands Across Chicagoland.
4 months ago, you sat in that chair.
Well, that's at least good to hear. People are still coming out and protesting.
The president showed a video that he said showed more than 1,000 burial sites of white South Africans that he said were murdered. We know that that was not true and that the video wasn't showing that. So I wonder, why did the president choose to show that? It's not true. The video was showing a burial site. It is unsubstantiated that that's the case.
No, it is true that that video showed the crosses that represent
what the president claimed.
The video showed images of crosses in South Africa about white farmers who have been killed and politically persecuted because of the color of their skin. And those crosses are representing their lives. Those crosses are representing their lives in the fact that they are now dead.
They're a representation of their lives. They're not even the burial sites. He showed a bunch of crosses there.
And their government did nothing about it. Are you disputing that there's no...
The fact that the video showed what the president claimed it showed, because it did not show that. But even more, what I'm asking you is who at the White House...
No, it did show that. It showed white crosses representing people who have perished because
Let her ask the question.
Racial persecution.
Verify the videos that the president shows, and what protocols are in place when there's unsubstantiated information being put out for the world and world leaders to show.
Yamiche, what's unsubstantiated about the video? The video shows crosses that represent the dead bodies of people who were racially persecuted by their government. In fact, the Associated Press, of all places, has a picture of that very monument, and the caption from the Associated Press is, "Each cross marks a white farmer who has been killed in a farm murder." So it is substantiated, not just by that video and the physical evidence that everybody saw on display in the Oval Office, but also by another outlet in this room, the Associated Press. So you should take it up with them if you believe the claim is unsubstantiated. And that's a ridiculous line of questioning. John.
Wow. Just didn't want to talk about it. Deflected the whole time. It's because the orange man doesn't know what he's doing. He's dumb.
This bill is insane. This legislature legalized hemp 6 years ago.
So Republicans just banned all THC products in the state of Texas. This new law will close thousands of small businesses and lay off thousands of workers across the state. Republican Party once stood for liberty and small government. Now they're a party of control.
But instead of regulating this booming industry in our state, we are now going backwards to the days of prohibition. This bill is not going to stop Texans from smoking weed or eating edibles just because a bunch of politicians in Austin tell them not to. Texans will still use THC, but instead of getting it safely from a local small business, they'll now get it from the black market, from the drug cartels. This ban is a gift to the cartels. We are now telling full-grown adults how to live their lives. This is the nanny state at its worst. This is big government at its worst. I thought the Republican Party believed in limited government and personal responsibility. I thought the Republican Party believed in liberty and freedom. What gives us the right to tell an adult what to do on their own time? We are now about to throw Texans in jail for seeking relief that's safer than alcohol and less addictive than tobacco. Instead of
I couldn't imagine what I would do without my edibles. I couldn't imagine. They help me go to sleep every night. I wouldn't sleep. I'd have nightmares. I'd be tossing and turning. Probably have panic attacks. And we are reverting now? THC products are going to be illegal in Texas? Thank God I live in California.
fully funding schools, expanding access to health care, lowering costs of child care. This legislature is focused on banning a product that gives people a little peace. Texans use THC to lessen anxiety. Seniors use it to manage chronic pain. Our veterans use it to treat PTSD. With this ban, we are now making people's lives harder, not easier. I want to leave you with a quote. It is time to end needless arrests and incarcerations of adults for small amounts of marijuana for personal use. That wasn't a Democrat. That was President Donald Trump. To my Republican colleagues, I'm asking you to oppose the cartels, stand with President Trump, and vote no on this insane bill.
The president showed.
Way to flip it on him. Way to flip it on him. That's funny. It's funny how they wishy-washy back and forth, right? Isn't it? One day weeds in, one day weeds out. Wherever the money is, they follow the money. They have no loyalties to our country, to our troops who are fighting PTSD, to our citizens. The loyalty is where the dollar is. And if the dollar isn't making them cash, they don't want anything to do with it, and they shift their policy. All they do is sniff that green out. That's all they do. Sniffing out the green.
What will it take for you to be convinced that there's no white genocide in South Africa?
Well, I can answer that for President. It's for him. No, seriously.
I'd rather have him answer.
Yeah, I'd rather answer that. It will be.
Our president will respond to you.
Yeah, let me.
Thank you, Mr. President.
It will take President Trump listening to the voices of South Africans, some of whom are his good friends, like those who are here. When we have talks between us on around a quiet table, it will take President Trump to listen to them. I'm not going to be repeating what I've been saying. I would say if there was Afrikaner farmer genocide, I can bet you these three gentlemen would not be here, including my Minister of Agriculture.
Absolutely. He wouldn't have his cabinet there. If there was active white genocide in South Africa, these men wouldn't be here. They wouldn't be here. This is propaganda. They would be hunted down. This is outrageous. They wouldn't be sitting here.
He would not be with me. So it'll take him, President Trump, listening to their stories, to their perspective. That is the answer to your question.
It doesn't fit his narrative, though. He doesn't want to hear the truth. If it goes against his narrative, it's not true to him.
President, I must say that we have, no, wait.
Nope, shut up.
We have thousands of stories talking about it. Sure. And we have documentaries, we have news stories, and that. Is Natalie here, somebody here to turn that? I could show you a couple of things.
I don't want to see anything he has to show me. I don't. It's fucking outrageous, dude.
This is one of the best things I've ever seen in my entire life. I mean, it's so fucking spot on. And funny. Enjoy.
America is a land of freedom, independence, and individual thinking. But sometimes an idea comes along that's just a little different. And before you know it, whoops, you're in a cult.
Honey, where are my eggs?
Dear leader says Joe Biden took them.
The signs are crystal clear. Learn how to spot them in How to Know You Are in a Cult. First sign, good leader. For a cult to work, it needs a good leader, and a good leader is never wrong. If something bad happens like high gas prices, a recession, or even a plane crashing,
President Trump says it was Joe Biden.
he needs to be able to shift the blame. Second sign, don't question. In a cult, questioning the leader can be dangerous. The moment you think for yourself, poof, you disappear quicker than an aging wife. Third sign, loyalty wins. A good cult leader must reward loyalty. And if you're a billionaire, well, you can do whatever you want, even to the least deserved. Fourth sign, see things his way. Even if you saw things with your own eyes and ears,
bro,
and every shred of evidence points in one direction, if he says otherwise, see things his way. So how do you know you're in a cult? Simple. If your leader is never wrong, punishes his enemies, and lets his richest friends run amok while convincing you that
Heaven's
everything
Gate.
bad is someone else's fault, well, congratulations. You are in a cult.
What would it take from
All right, signs to know if you're in a cult. That's really good. Whoever made that. That gets a repost. I even followed the guy now. All right, let's get into Representative Maxwell Frost.
Mr. Speaker, this is a moment I'm never going to forget, because tonight hundreds of Republican members of Congress are wanting to line up to vote for the biggest transfer of wealth from the working poor and the working class to billionaires and mega corporations that we've seen in this country's history.
I haven't heard this guy speak before. I believe he is the youngest representative in Congress right now. I'm pretty sure.
This is a deep moment of betrayal, a complete absence of loyalty to the people that we represent, and an abandonment of the values of hard work and dignified life. Mr. Speaker, I'm 28 years old. My generation already expects that we'll never be able to afford a home, to get out of debt, to retire, to live comfortably. And no, it's not because we've lived beyond our means, but it's because we've been denied the means to live. Donald Trump and congressional Republicans are making it worse, gutting Medicaid and food assistance to give tax cuts to billionaires and special interests. And all of the things that you could give tax breaks for, this bill will cut taxes on silencers for guns. For those who don't know, gun silencers can be attached to a gun to muffle the sound of a gunshot. These silencers make it harder to identify and respond to the source of the gunshots. Earlier, I put forth an amendment to strip this tax cut for the gun lobby, and House Republicans wouldn't even let it come up for a vote. And then the Republicans made the bill worse in their manager's amendment by making silencers completely unregulated. My question is, why did this get added to the bill just a couple hours ago? Which congressional Republican just couldn't stand to vote for the horrible bill until it promised even more death to people? And so, America, we got to be very clear and truthful about this budget. Laws for gun manufacturers to make more money off of the death of children and our people? Yes. Food for children to eat? No. Healthcare for seniors, disabled Americans, and millions more? No. Resources to help working families fight to ends meet? No. This is why they've been told to not host any town halls back in their districts. That's why this debate is happening in the middle of the night. It's nothing short of theft. And congressional Republicans are really helping me understand why half of this country doesn't vote. It's because they'll look people in the eyes and make promises only to come here in the middle of the night to advance a bill that will take away the benefits that they have earned. Republicans would have us believe that the person most likely to steal from you is a person in a hoodie, a black person in a hoodie, or an immigrant with tattoos. This is to distract from the fact that at least here tonight, the people stealing from Americans are not folks with tattoos and hoodies. It's people wearing suits and ties and congressional pins sitting in this Capitol right now. Not in some random alley wrapped in darkness, but in the United States Congress, wrapped in the flag. It is disgusting, and we will never forget this. I yield back.
I like him. I like him a lot. When you hear cheering, clapping, and booing at the same time, you know he's telling the truth. I like him. I'm following him now. We're going to find out more about him. Yeah,
and if you look in human history where the opposition failed to stop the right-wing fascist coups in human history, guess what? It's when the opposition was asleep at the wheel.
Did it say? Did it just say it was he? Wait, hold on. Yeah, youngest member of Congress. Going off for 2 minutes. All right, let's go back to it.
And when the opposition didn't correctly educate the people about the stakes of what's going on. But this isn't political stuff. Right. This is real education to ensure people know what's going on. We empower them. when we refuse to use the correct language. Here's the thing, we're not being hyperbolic, we're not exaggerating. I book definition describing the things that are going on. They want us to be scared to say they're fascists. But if you look at everything they're doing, it's the playbook of fascism and authoritarian governments. We gotta be honest.
Facts. Straight facts. Yeah, that was an awesome speech. This kid knows his shit. He's smart. Why don't we have more representatives like this? Highly educated, motivated, charismatic, can talk to the people, relate to the people. Why? Why are we in such a predicament we are in?
With the fact that these people want to consolidate power and they want to blame the problems of our country on a few specific minorities, whether it's Palestinians, immigrants in general, Latinos, black people, trans kids, and that's how authoritarians and
he even said Latinos right. I like him.
Fascists gain power. That's what's going on. It's racist. Advocating, getting to the streets, that's the #1 thing we have right now. We're also going to continue to work in the courts and Congress. We have to use every tool we have to delay and obstruct what's going on. All these things will converge, and they are converging right now, and we need more and more of this. And so I encourage all legislators across the country to band together, join people in the streets, because this scares them. It doesn't scare.
So the proactiveness of this guy is what I like also. He's like, we got to get out there. We got to do this now. We don't have time to wait. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go.
Them as much if it's one-off things, but when it's every day, when it's relentless, when it's non-stop, when it continues, when the obstruction starts to work, when the judicial decisions start to come down heavy like they are now, we can't wait 2 years to do something. Right. You do something now. But to my colleagues, to people who are just obsessed with the midterms and not obsessed with doing something now, I got good news for them. Doing something now is not just good policy, it's good politics too.
Mic drop. Let's get it done now. Pressure, 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 pressure. Peaceful protests. Signs, gatherings. This makes sense. The more we do now, the less we gotta do later. Like, honestly. And he said, like he said, this is good politics. I love this guy. He makes sense.
Do something now, it helps you win later.
I like that.
It's a win-win situation. So let's get the fucking work.
It's safe to say that your generation...
Let's get the fucking work.
leading the way. Thank you for
thank
that.
you, man.
Thank you.
Dude, absolutely love that guy. I'm following him now, for sure. Paying attention.
Anyone who thinks those 220 people who are attending the dinner tonight,
a little bit on the meme coin,
$150 million for those seats, just really crave to have a digital equivalent of a baseball trading card? Well, you're a little off the mark. They absolutely want to buy influence over U.S. policy. The head of the freight technology company said they wanted to buy $20 million. Not sure if they actually purchased all $20 million or not, but he said because we want to influence the freight trade policy between Mexico and the United States.
That was Maxwell Frost. He's the youngest congressman in the United States. I believe he's out of Florida.
States of America. Everybody knows what this is about. President Trump is saying, open your wallet, hand me your money, and we'll consider the request that you have. That is astounding. It's a type of corruption, a magnitude of corruption. It is the Mount Everest of corruption. And here we are, business as usual, a bill.
No audio? No audio?
All coming to the floor that we will be coming to when we come back from recess.
You guys can't hear this guy?
To so-called regulate cryptocurrency. That bill, as Senator Warren has pointed out, has a series of holes in it that actually means it doesn't really regulate cryptocurrency. But what it does do is give legitimacy to that cryptocurrency world, the stable coin side of that world, in which it will really put a powerful impulse behind international companies saying if we're going to do a transaction in digital coins, we might as well use USD1, the Trump coin, because that will take and put.
Yeah, sometimes it cuts out on TV if it goes from mono to stereo. I've noticed on different streams. I don't know why. You just got to refresh.
Millions of dollars in President Trump's pocket and the pocket of his family company, digital company, and so we'll not only have the digital coins, we'll also buy influence with the United States of America. You know, our founders were profoundly worried about foreign players buying influence in the United States of America. There had been a whole series of incidents with different governments trying to bribe other governments in the years before our country was founded. This led to Hamilton describing in the Federalist Papers, Federalist 22, he was explaining why we have this clause in our Constitution that forbids members who are elected, and that includes Congress and it includes the President and the Vice President, from taking any form of gift or money from a foreign power, a foreign government. He said, and I quote, "Many mortifying examples of the prevalency of foreign corruption in Republican governments." That's why. And you might recall that just 10 years after we were founded, we had the XYZ affair, where the French tried to extract bribes from the United States of America in order to start negotiations. This was a real threat. Today, it isn't just a threat from foreign governments. It's a threat from foreign corporations. It is a threat from foreign individuals. And one of those individuals who is going to be present tonight is an individual named Jason Sun, a crypto billionaire. What could he possibly want? When we're in the moment of deciding what are the sideboards for crypto trading, we have to put an end to this. And we have a crypto bill on the floor, and we will be coming back to it, and it's why we're absolutely going to insist on voting on an amendment that will put an end to all electeds, congressional, vice president, president, members of the cabinet, from having a financial stake in this business. So it's a moment where the vision of government by for the people is being corroded massively. It's like a car on the East Coast after salt's been put on the winter road and the whole underbelly is being corroded out. That's what, this isn't government by and for, this is government by and for people overseas buying the policies they want. We took an oath to defend the Constitution, and that's what we're going to strive to do, and that's why we're going to strive to do everything we can to stop this corrupt practice. And now it's my pleasure to turn this over to Representative Sam Liccardo from California.
It'll never pass, but he's 100% right. Cryptocurrency scheme, the Trump coin, we're getting sold out to our adversaries like China, like Russia. We are falling as a country because of this. And they don't care. All they care about is the dollar sign. They don't care about borders on a map. They don't care. The United States could mean shit to him or them. They only care about their billionaire buddies and power.
Senator, thank you. Senator, thank you for your work. Thank you to all my colleagues in the Senate for their very important work on this.
Yeah, that's all. That's all on that one. What's this one?
This is from investigative journalist Julia Engwin, who has reported on data privacy and security for years. She's writing in the New York Times today. She says, quote, Doge is assembling a sprawling domestic surveillance system for the Trump administration, the likes of which we have never seen in the United States. Over the past 100 days, Doge teams have grabbed personal data about U.S. residents from dozens of federal databases and are reportedly merging it all into a master database. This month, House Democratic lawmakers reported that a whistleblower had come forward to reveal that the master database will combine data from federal agencies, including Social Security, the IRS, and the Department of Health and Human Services. The whistleblower also alleged that Doge workers are filling backpacks with multiple laptops.
Yeah, we don't have the right to feel numb to this, Huber. I know what you mean, though. But if we don't pay attention to this, it's going to get worse and worse and worse. We need to keep people motivated. We need to spread the word on what's going on so that the fire gets lit and people don't just give up. So we don't act feeble-minded like the rest of the world sees us right now. So we have a voice. And there's more of us. There is more of us. They're just louder and they're in power right now.
Each one loaded with purloined agency data. What this amounts to is a stunningly fast reversal of our long history of siloing government data to prevent its misuse. In their first 100 days, Musk and Trump have knocked down the barriers that were intended to prevent them from creating dossiers on every U.S. resident. Now they seem to be building a defining feature of many authoritarian regimes, comprehensive files on everyone, so they can punish those who protest. A longtime civil liberties lawyer tells Ms. Engwin for the Times today, quote, "This is what we were always scared of. The infrastructure for turnkey totalitarianism is there for an administration willing to break the law."
Anyone who thinks those two...
Well, we got surveillance. We all knew this. Like, this Doge shit was just a cover for stealing our information and tracking. That's all this was. It was information gathering, probably for his AI system. He's already getting in trouble for having Grok go into government websites and pretty much give information and run some of the websites. So there's so much to it.
So I'm not a lawyer, but I write law.
All right, this is more from Congressman Maxwell Frost.
Laws.
So I've been asking, is this legal? And you've been asking, what have we been doing? So I'm chopping it up with some kick-ass colleagues from the Oversight Committee who are conducting some oversight about U.S. citizens in El Salvador. You recently came back from El Salvador. You went to stand up against the wrongful deportation of Kilmar Abrego Garcia. Why was it so important for you to go?
Donald Trump admitted that he wrongfully deported this individual. The Supreme Court ruled unanimously that he needs to facilitate his return, and Trump is refusing to do so. We wanted to go and make sure we continue to pressure the Trump administration to follow the law, give this man due process, and return him home.
Our main point is really want to try to meet with Kilmar Abrego Garcia. We were unable to do that, but we were able to get information for his family about what new jail he was moved to, for life, different things like that. But we really also went to, again...
Hey guys, if you haven't already, please hit the like. If you haven't subbed, please sub. I am almost at 1,000 subs. I've been pressing really hard for it for the last few months. That would be great. Share the stream out if you could. Also, in the top of the chat, there's a pinned fundraiser for Paige in Kansas, who is heading back to Ukraine to deliver aid to frontline soldiers, including the 14th Mechanized Brigade, which was my first fundraiser. We are in contact with the senior sergeant. He is sending videos. They need medical supplies. They're headed into the shit. So please, if you could help, it's really easy to do. Click on the link, select the amount you want. If you have Google Pay set up, just put inside the commentary for the 14th, so it's earmarked. She knows what brigade it's going to because she's helping many.
And raise this point that if the president can say, put that person in a gulag in a different country, and when the Supreme Court tells him in a 9-0 decision, bring them back, and he defies it, that impacts all of us.
So when you went to El Salvador, what did you see? What did you learn?
We got to travel with his family's lawyer and met with human rights groups on the ground, got a better sense of what's happening, met with the U.S. Embassy, got more information about whether Donald Trump has actually facilitated the return, and he had not. And so we wrote another letter to Secretary Rubio making the same demands and also advocating for the hundreds of other people who have been wrongfully deported to El Salvador, because the Trump administration is paying tens of thousands of dollars for each of the people that we are sending over there, and they have plans to expand.
In this country, we are all entitled to due process, no matter what your status is. Donald Trump, just a few weeks ago, said the next people he wants to deport are U.S. citizens, and they've actually already detained and deported U.S. citizens as well. So this is something that we have to stand up against.
So having said all that you've said, was this legal?
This was and is not legal.
Absolutely not.
All right, more from Maxwell Frost. Really like that kid.
My daughter pointed to it. She said, "Papa, American flag," which I thought was really cool for a 3-year-old. I said, "Yeah, you're right. That's an American flag." I said, "Guess what? It has a nickname. It's called the Stars and Stripes, because it's got those white stars and those red and white stripes." She said, "Oh, what else is it called?" I was like, well, it's called Old Glory. This is the tradition of that flag as a battle flag in important moments in our country's story. She said, "Oh, what else is it called?" I was like, Stars and Stripes, I already said that one. Star Spangled Banner. It's called that because there's a song about it. She said, "Oh, what else is it called?" You ever talk to a 3-year-old? I was out of nicknames by then. But I got to thinking, she knows what the flag is, but she doesn't yet know what it represents, what it means to all of us, and what it meant to me. When she and her brother are old enough, I'm going to tell them. I'm going to tell them what it was like to salute that flag. I'm going to tell them what it was like to have that flag Velcroed to my shoulder when we got into a vehicle to go outside the wire in Afghanistan. I'm going to tell her and her brother one day what it felt like that handful of times that, as an officer, I had the solemn ceremonial duty of taking that flag and handing it to somebody and saying, on behalf of the President of the United States, the Department of the Navy, and a grateful nation, I present you with this flag as a symbol of our appreciation for your loved ones' faithful and honorable service. But before they're old enough for me to lay anything that heavy on them, I'll tell them about the values that that flag represents, the story, the incredibly rich and inspiring, and yes, very, very complicated story of everything that has happened under that flag and in the name of that flag. I'll tell them about how what made America and makes America great is not something that we dust off by saying the word again. What makes America great is its ability to wrestle with its darkest demons and come out stronger and better for it.
I don't know how Pete Buttigieg is faring less than Gavin Newsom. He's pretty charismatic too. He would be a good candidate for president. Maybe not the perfect one, but I feel like he'd have a good chance. Or real Vladimir Putin, you're on the wrong channel. Tim Pool's channel talks about that a lot. Imagine growing up in an environment like that. God, how fucking terrible. Oh, dang. That guy nailed it. Absolutely nailed it. Really educational. Very immersive in his speech. Like, you could feel yourself being there hearing his dad talk all that weird, crazy shit. Really good speaker. Really good speech. And educational. Yeah, God, how gross. How gross. All right, we got a little... Oh, this Kevin Kiley. Is he getting into it with Jasmine Crockett? Yeah, so this is one of our local representatives, I believe, here. No. Yeah, it is. Kevin Kiley. Kevin Kiley from California, Republican, getting into it with Jasmine Crockett.
I just wanted to briefly address a point brought up by the representative from Texas, Ms. Crockett, who accused me and my colleagues over here of ignoring the Constitution. And if that were true, that'd be a very serious matter. So I did want to just inquire as to what exactly the accusation is. So I'll happily yield to the gentlewoman from Texas if she'd like to respond. Do you believe that someone who has snuck into our country, entered the United States illegally, that the due process requirements for that individual are the same as they are for a U.S. citizen?
I thought the question was for me, but it seems like the lawyers on this side, or just my entire team, knows the answer. Per the Constitution, yes, if you are on our soil, you are guaranteed due process. And the fact...
Why does Jasmine Crockett have to explain this to another representative, especially Kevin Kiley in the Sacramento area? That's... You know, I've been trying to go easy on him for his engagements and his support of Ukraine. But I will never see eye to eye with this man. Maybe on some topics, but fuck.
That there's even a question?
We just gotta distance ourselves. I feel like this is pathetic.
Is why we are struggling right now. In addition to an additional issue that I have.
Do you know what would happen to his district if ICE came there and started deporting all the illegal immigrants? The economy would tank. Absolutely tank. He would be in up Schitt's Creek, worse than he is already with his constituents.
Is the executive order that was signed by the president that seemed to get rid of birthright citizenship, which also is laid out in the Constitution, which is why even the most conservative judges have ruled against. There is no one that has ruled that that was okay.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, thank you. So blah.
How many Canadian patients on a waiting list die?
Okay, so this is a Canadian doctor, and absolutely shreds everybody on stage on this. This is amazing.
Each year, do you know?
I don't, sir, but I know that there are 45,000 in America who die waiting because they don't have insurance at all.
Just rips them apart. When you challenge a Canadian doctor to health care, you best be prepared.
Martin, in your testimony, you note that Canadian doctors exiting the public system for the private sector has had the effect of increasing waiting lists for patients seeking public health care. Why are doctors exiting the public system in Canada?
Thank you for your question, Senator. If I didn't express myself in a way that make myself understood, I apologize. There are no doctors exiting the public system in Canada. And in fact, we see a net influx of physicians from the United States into the Canadian system over the last number of years. What I did say was that the solution to the wait time challenge that we have in Canada, which we do have a difficult time with waits for elective medical procedures, does not lie in moving away from our single payer system towards a multi-payer system. And that's borne out by the experience of Australia. So Australia used to have a single tier system, and in the 1990s moved to a multiple payer system where private insurance was permitted. And what they found was in those areas of Australia where private insurance was being taken up and utilized.
Brain drain US. LOL. Facts. 100% brain drain.
Waits in the public system became longer.
What do you say to an elected official who goes to Florida and not the Canadian system to have a heart valve replaced?
It's actually interesting because, in fact, the people who are the pioneers of that particular surgery are in Toronto at the Peter Monk Cardiac Centre, just down the street from where I work. So what I say is that sometimes people have a perception, and I believe that actually this is fueled in part by media discourse, that going to where you pay more for something, that necessarily makes it better, but it's not actually borne out by the evidence on outcomes. And what we've found is that actually working within the single payer system, we can reorganize things. You know, I waited more than 30 minutes at the security line to get into this building today. And when I arrived in the lobby, I noticed across the hall that there was a second entry point with no lineup whatsoever. Sometimes it's not actually about the amount of resources that you have, but rather about how you organize people in order to use your queues most effectively. And that's what we're working to do, because we believe that when you try to address wait times, you should do it in a way that benefits everyone, not just people who can afford to pay.
Damn, dude. Shreds him. I love it. Ooh.
My name is Megan Little. I'm from Morrisville, and I'm here to speak about 287G. Let's be honest, this is a white supremacy fascist movement, and this is no longer the Republican Party. This is the American Fascist Party. It's cruelty.
Yeah, she annihilated him in that. That was freaking amazing.
Dressed up as policy. This is not about law, because these are innocent people. Being undocumented is not a crime. It is a civil offense. There are 7,000 warrants for real criminals that are on our streets. Rapists and robbers. But why doesn't the sheriff care about rapists? Is it because he elected one that is on the Epstein list 26 times? No, I'm sorry, 64 times, with 26 sexual assault allegations. He pleaded the fifth 97 times. He has 34 felony convictions, 91 criminal charges, 6 bankruptcies, 5 draft deferments, which I really don't agree with. 1 fake university shutdown, 4 indictments, 2 impeachment, a $25 million fraud settlement, $400 million fraud settlement. He led a mob that killed 5 police officers, and I could go on, but I only have 3 minutes. But this isn't even about him. This is about what he represents: racism and bigotry.
The worst that our country has to offer is what our current president represents. The absolute worst.
It's about giving an outlet, a channel, of hatred for mistreating immigrants. But these immigrants aren't who they should be angry at. They should be angry at corporations and billionaires who are stealing their wages and their lands and their homes, because immigrants are working class people like us. And who are going to do their jobs when they're gone? I bet you MAGA's not. And what's going to happen to our economy? But you know what's the even bigger question? Is once the humanity's gone and we've stripped it away from our police and from the deputies, how do you get it back? Where does it go? Because I've seen Nazism. We've all seen Nazism. And when you strip away the humanity, it doesn't come back. And it infests in our communities, and we're left to live with that.
She's not wrong. He is the Antichrist. There's very, very defining facts that point that direction in his behaviors, yeah. I may be inclined to agree that he definitely represents a portion of it.
Now, although Trump's new attorney general is set to give $5 million to the rioters' family, Trump has not proposed to give a penny to the more than 140 police officers injured, wounded, hospitalized, disfigured, and or disabled in their violence, and nothing to their families. He's proposed no money payments to the bereaved family of Officer Brian Sicknick, an Army veteran with 2 tours abroad who died at age 42 here on January 7th, 2021, the very next day after being brutalized by rioters. The decision to give millions of dollars to the Babbitt family and nothing to the families of the police officers who defended this Capitol, who defended us, exacerbates the insult of Speaker Johnson's continuing refusal to hang a simple plaque in honor of the officers who defended the Capitol and the Congress and the Vice President. A plaque mandated by law and now more than 2 years overdue on the west front of the Capitol. The Speaker's stubborn refusal to respect the law is craven submission to the executive branch, to Donald Trump, who wants to pretend that the rampaging mob that he sent to Congress was made up of patriotic heroes and that the people he pardoned were, quote, hostages and, quote, political prisoners. A hostage is someone who's been illegally abducted by a terrorist group like Hamas.
Yeah, it's weird how they spin it too. At first they said it was all Antifa, and if you ask any super hardcore MAGA, Antifa still was there. Well, why did Trump pardon all of them if they were Antifa?
And held for a financial or political ransom.
See you, Tone.
A political prisoner is someone like Alexei Navalny or Nelson Mandela, who's been imprisoned for ideological reasons, not for violently assaulting the police or engaging in seditious conspiracy or destroying federal property. But the administration's effort to create big news yesterday was Trump's acting U.S. attorney in New Jersey, a blatantly partisan prosecutor who has bragged about working to turn New Jersey red. Well, she announced her intention to indict our colleague, Congresswoman LaMonica McIver, on charges of assaulting, resisting, and obstructing law enforcement based on the now famous May 9th incident outside of Delaney Hall, an ICE detention facility in McIver's district, where she was conducting a scheduled oversight visit with other members of Congress, including our 80-year-old colleague, Bonnie Watson Coleman, and the mayor of Newark. Well, Delaney Hall is operated by the private prison company GEO, a major Republican donor that gave $1 million to Make America Great Again, Inc., and has faced numerous lawsuits for its treatment of detainees in unsafe conditions. The members had a lawful right to be there and to investigate, and even after ICE initiated a scuffle to arrest the mayor of Newark on public property, the House members were let in to tour the facility to conduct nonviolent oversight, and the tour went smoothly. This indictment is a manifest fraud, clearly designed to distract America this week from the administration's savage and unpopular effort to strip 14 million Americans of their Medicaid and health coverage and 11 million Americans of Head Start, Meals on Wheels, and other nutritional assistance programs like SNAP. Representative McIver was, of course, executing one of the core duties of a member of Congress, oversight, pursuant to her precise statutory right to enter and visit an ICE facility. The Supreme Court has repeatedly held that oversight is a central element of the legislative process, because if we can't research the facts on the ground, we don't know what laws to pass.
Like he said, one distraction after another. Meanwhile, he keeps micro-grifting from different areas, taking everything he can. Taking absolutely everything he can, every penny that he can. Everything. Seeking out every little penny, every corner, every avenue they are taking from us right now. They are taking as much as they can with the time they have, which is short.
On Thursday night, the top 220 holders of the Trump meme coin were invited to an exclusive dinner hosted at the president's Virginia golf course. Although the private event was supposed to be happening on his personal time, Trump gave a speech at a podium with the presidential seal. Trump mostly stuck to talking points about the Biden administration and Kamala Harris, but he also talked himself up as a crypto-friendly president.
As you know, the past administration made your lives miserable. They were forcing you to leave.
Yeah, the private prison companies, that's what he was talking about when he talked about Alcatraz. He wants more private prisons. He wants prisons everywhere. Like the system of the Down Zone. They're trying to build a prison. That's what they want to do. They want more prisons all over. Private prisons, private companies where they can just reap more taxpayer money for God knows what's going to be a crime by then.
They were going after everybody, and it was a disgrace, frankly.
During the Biden administration, many big names in crypto were investigated for securities fraud. That includes Justin Sun, the #1 holder of the Trump meme coin.
Right there, guys. #1 holder of the Trump meme coin was
The
under
SEC
investigation.
sued Justin Sun for securities fraud in 2023. After Trump took office, the SEC paused the lawsuit. Justin Sun gave a speech at Trump's dinner and also received a $100,000 gem-encrusted watch as a prize.
I really appreciate everything Trump administration done to our industry.
Most of the guests at the dinner are still unknown to the public. The White House is refusing to share the list of names, though many have since been identified by news outlets, including The Verge.
I can't believe people are falling for this stuff, man. This is wild. Wild. Wild what we just saw right there. Oh. We're going to wrap it up. We're going to wrap it up here real soon. Let's do a little funny before we go. Oh, right here. This is great. I love this.
I'm tired of people saying, here's my go-to lazy meal, and then start chopping an onion. Don't piss me off. Lazy? If I have to peel something, cry, and clean a knife after, that's not lazy. That's a commitment. That's a weekday battle. Okay, the moment I hear a knife hit a cutting board, I'm out. You lost me at preheat. Don't tell me it's quick if you're sweating into a pan and using words like saute. Okay? If your lazy meal requires steps, seasoning, emotional strength, it's not lazy. It's just a weekday episode of MasterChef you're pretending is relatable. Okay, you're crying over diced onions. I'm eating dry cereal with a fork because the spoons are dirty. We're not the same. Okay, a real lazy meal is eating shredded cheese over the sink while having a full mental breakdown. That's the energy. Okay, if there's a cutting board involved, you're cooking. If there's garlic, you're auditioning for the Food Network. Okay, if there's garnish, you're a liar. Don't say lazy meal and then it's low effort and then pull out paprika or zest a lemon. Okay, just say you want it to feel superior while I microwave chicken nuggets.
I love that. 100%, guys. 100%. Let's wrap it up with a little more boost on the 14th mechanized fundraiser we got pinned in the chat through Paige in Kansas, who's headed over to Ukraine right now to deliver aid. These gentlemen right here need medical supplies. There is a laundry list of supplies needed that Paige has. She can buy in country, but we need to support her now. The Give Butter is pinned in the chat right there. I will also put it in the description after the stream ends. I'm going to just open it up real quick. I just click the link. I go here, Ukraine Frontline Incorp. Right here, 501c3, public charity, right? Tax deductible. Over here, donations right here. You just click the amount you want. If you want to do other, you can do other. Add note, please. When you add note, earmark for the 14th. So she knows. Thank you, Koala, for just donating. Very much. She's seeing the difference. She contacted me. She's like, holy cow, this is great. Please keep it up. She's not only helping the 14th, she's helping many others over there, including a Ukrainian lady who is widowed, who has a child who has cancer and needs medication every month. So Paige is doing a ton of shit. We interviewed her before. We are focusing on the 14th because our friend Angie Pod's family member is fighting in the 14th, and this was my first group that I helped fundraise for. We got more pictures coming from them, right? There's some of them holding drones, and then a quick little 14-second video. And all right, it wasn't working earlier with the sound, now it is. So here we go.
Хочемо звернутися за допомогою до всіх небайдужих на Мавік і 3Т, які будуть нам допомагати нищити ворога. Всі разом до перемоги. Слава Україні! Героям слава!
All right, that's our contact, the senior sergeant in the 14th, with his men in his battalion. They need help. We are going to be supporting them for quite some time, probably for a few more weeks in June. Halfway through June, then we're going to shift back to the Car for Ukraine fundraiser. Since we did receive back footage of our vehicle that we fundraised in Ukraine, it is there, active now. And I think that's all I got for you guys. Thank you very much for being here today. I appreciate it. I'm almost at 1,000 subs. I'm still grinding away at it. Feel like I'm plateauing out a little bit, but we will continue on the path, grow the channel so I can continue fundraising more. I love fundraising. You know, and I'm always going to have one up. And if you guys can't donate, then it's fine. Do what you can. Share the stream out. Let people know about the fundraiser. Let people know about Paige. She is a wonderful woman. Let people know about Car for Ukraine that's coming up for the summer fundraiser. Whatever you can do to help, help in any way you can. Whatever that means. And I will see you guys later. Let me hit you with a little outro. Also, before I go, if you could comment after the stream. It helps a bunch on the algorithm. Also, today I will be releasing a recap from the megachurch stream that I did. So if you guys could also comment and share that one out. The stream did really well. It was one of my highest viewed streams. I put some of the content from the stream into a video. I'm going to be sharing out here after I go make some delicious food with paprika because I'm bougie. All right, I'll see you guys later. Here's your outro.
Yo, it's good day. Yeah, it's on. They call me BB, but these ain't no double B's. My bomb's going off, gonna bring it to your knees. Have you begging, darling, please? Have you can't get none of these? My Felina gets more scratched than you fellas with some fleas. Sliding through the city, looking clean. Off the radar, can't be seen. Bringing rides to the front for the homies dressed in green. Outfitting the whole crew, from the helmet to the shoe. Vipers dripped and equipped in the 422. Riding for the yellow blue, fundraising for the cause. Rocking European shades, dynamite in the paws. Dropping jaws left and right. This Felina is so stellar, blasting off with a bang. I'm the blonde bombsheller. Call me BB, cause I'm the queen of the hive. All the drones that we raise, gonna leave you not alive. They call me BB, cause I'm the queen of the hive. All the drones that we raise, gonna leave you not alive. Shoot by the dozen, can't see looting, has horseradish, and I heard that it be bustin', and I'm sweet like some honey, but get too close, you might get stung. Gonna need an EpiPen before I'm swell up in your lung. And I'm modding left and right while you sitting on that bench, banning bots in the chat with that shiny